Hello. I'm very depressed. This hair, well, I'm really contemplating just cutting it all off, but I'm also really glad it's growing long. I'm really upset with you all. And a lot of the discrimination that I experience, it turns out I'm a part of a very at-risk group. Adoptees and former foster youth are severely at risk, and statistics show that. We are 4 times more likely to die from our own hand than the average person, and twice as likely to die by our own hand than veterans. We fight a war too, and you all love it when it's Eminem rapping about how he grew up with no food or heat in his house after his mother would leave. You love that. You're entertained by that. And then you find people like me who relate, and you bully us with Eminem's name. You use Eminem's name and him rapping about his child abuse to bully other child abuse victims. Please don't wonder why he doesn't leave his house. As Rap Devil said, I publicly support both MGK and Eminem because we need them. We need them. We need every abused child to survive so that we can help the other children that still exist to not be abused. They can't teach us. I can teach you. I'm a 29-year-old who can consent to the public learning from my story. And you all call it trauma dumping. But trauma dumping is expecting people to be your therapist. And I've never expected that from a single one of you. I was raised by a therapist, and I have done way more therapy than most of you. I die repetitively. I get homeless over and over and over again. I'm chronically homeless. It's not because I'm choosing it. I'm lucky to have housing right now. For the first time ever in my life, I can be depressed without getting kicked out. Even as a child, even as a kid. I did not live in a house for more than 2 years. Ever. My whole childhood. They moved me. Every time. Within 2 years. Usually 1 year. There's evidence of that. They raised me as a homeless person. You guys called it legal guardianship, but I called it not having a home, because that's what it was. Then you all watched as my kid was taken for my poverty, and you have the audacity to call me a crazy person. Every mother whose child was abducted from them, we're crazy. We're crazy every day, all day, with worry. Because our own child's destiny, we don't get to control it. We can help the world, though, so that maybe our kid will live in a better place than we had to survive. And you all think it's trauma dumping, and that's extremely problematic, because children's lives depend on this. When you see people talking about their abused childhood, please amplify them, because it saves other children. Upon finding a group of other adoptees and former foster youth, I've been taught a lot of statistics that are very important to the survival of our species. But it turns out that you guys get really fragile, and you report us online when we try to talk about it constantly. Adoptees and former foster youth, if you go find them on TikTok, their profiles get completely erased. Constantly. It's because adoption is a $20 billion industry in this country, and that's just adoption. That's not even the foster system. The adoption industry is where they pillage babies like mine, so that they can give adoptive parents the newborn baby that they want, because they think that newborn babies don't have trauma. But every child separated from their parent experiences trauma, and science now shows us that. Science has now proven that. Adoption is trauma. All of it. Every time. Even if you have a good caregiver, it's still trauma. It causes trauma to the brain. To be separated from your parents. It causes the parent themselves who wanted their child to suffer a lot. And maybe, just maybe, it wasn't correct for you guys to come bully me for it, as you get entertainment from me very slowly, yet repetitively, dying in public. I said I'm Jesus and I'm dying in public, and you thought it was funny. Turns out I might have been right. Turns out I might have been wrong about time travel being possible. It turns out, as usual, I need support, and that always leaves the second I get housing, and it's very problematic. I'm upset, and I'm having a meltdown. I've had 2 donors since I got housed, and I've finally not had to make everyday posts fundraising, but I still need the money. And I've had 2 people who have been sending me money so that I'm allowed to even stop asking frivolously for the first time ever. As I'm allowed to be depressed for the first time ever because I have independent housing. For the first time ever. And this will probably be the only time I ever get to live independently. I can't afford it. I can't afford to not rely on people. I have no way to house myself or make money. But you all call me fascinating. Tell me I should write a book, as you ignore what I am already saying. Why would I write a book when you don't even read a paragraph? One of my donors is still there. The other donor, it turns out, I'm pretty sure it was just confusing charity with a dowry, and he tried to apply pressure as soon as I got housing for me to want him sexually when I do not. He accused me of using him as an ATM, as I ask the entire public for help. I'm not using anybody. I'm an indigent person, and I don't know if you realize this, but every single person, I can't use them. I'm drowning. My financial situation is constantly drowning, and if you think it got easier for me whenever everything got more expensive, it didn't. Every time I get housing, you guys go, oh, cool, she's safe, and you leave. I was never a fundraiser because I'm homeless. I started this because I need a way to produce money myself, and it is my only option. I provide art and music and writing and anything I can to work for the public online, and it's the only thing I can do. You all bully me with Eminem. So I became Eminem, but we don't only have one shot. I don't have to sign a record deal. It will make me unable to speak anything that you guys don't like to hear, and that's everything I have to say. Unfortunately, I belong to a group of people that you guys get really fragile with, and that group of people is adoptees and former foster youth. And you all online constantly report us and delete our profiles over and over, and it hasn't just been me. It's not just because I call the whole world Munchausen. any adoptee or former foster youth who is ungrateful for their abuse, you guys report us. I'm extremely disappointed in you. And I need you to realize that I need support. I need friends. I don't have any of those left. I have no friends left. I have no fucking friends. And it's because I ask for money. The people who like me, I'm too hard to look at. If you think I'm hard to look at now, please remember how Juice WRLD's songs hit before he passed. I'm going to get even harder to look at if you let me perish from my poverty. And that's not a threat. I don't want to haunt everyone. I don't want my whole existence to be a haunting. And it is. And I'm really depressed. And I need people who will donate to me without the expectation of it making me want to be sexually attracted to them because they saved me from drowning and then leveraged that drowning against me. I'm needy. I'm needy in public. I always was. As a child, I knocked on every door in my neighborhood asking for food. Did we have food in the house? Yeah. I don't really know why I did that, but I know that I wasn't watched. And I parented myself. Not only that, I taught myself to read. I have Einstein syndrome. I ask for money and I don't socialize a lot with people because I talk too much. I'm extremely analytical by diagnosis. And you have to have a language problem for it to be hyperlexia. Simply teaching yourself to read is not hyperlexia. It has to be coupled with a language problem. And I'm hyperverbal. But I am realizing with every passing day why most with hyperlexia, I'm pretty sure, aren't hyperverbal. We're very analytical. And when you're very analytical, you either talk too much or you stop talking at all. Because people beat you for thinking.